Hello, I'm Ryan Manieri. For those of you who don't know, I am a J-Team member for the J-Term here in Japan with Asian Access. I'm going to read from my journal today, and I'm going to start at day 9. I hope you enjoy it. Today was a day of highs and lows. Our morning started with a high, voice. Brandon led our worship, and he did an excellent job. He was on pitch, and he picked good songs. I just couldn't keep up in the key that he chose. He's a talented vocalist, and I, however, am not. The next part of the day was another high. It's always fun to ride in Goldie, that's our gold Mazda, with Ray and J-Pop. Once at the worksite, however, a few of us hit a low. Dustin, Ray, and I were chosen to help rake and lime the lot behind the B1 house. It sounds easy, right? Wrong! The lot was littered with trash, debris, and fish. 3-month-old fish smells worse than any rotten thing you can think of. On a scale of 1 to 10, spoiled milk would get a 7, rotten eggs would get an 8, and 3-month-old fish would get a 9.9 because there just may be something worse. After all, we haven't cleaned out any of the gutters yet. That's tomorrow's job, actually. All right. We basically raked up small debris piles and then looked for flies as an indicator of where to dig and turn the soil. Once the dirt was turned and the fish lot was removed, we poured lime over the area to help with the smell. That's powerful stuff. Steve, one of the construction guys, got a small amount on his arm and it burned away his arm hairs. This work was hot, it was brutal, and it was nasty. But that's why I'm here. Once our lot was done, we had to throw away our rot collection, which again was in the hot afternoon sun. We returned in time to help with the rest of the team and their gardening project, stump removal. Immediately, Dustin and Ray went to town on a stump, and I went around with my Swiss Army knife sawing through the Loctite death grip of the last few stubborn roots. I didn't realize it at the time, but I was setting myself up for a second low. Low blood sugar. I guess I wasn't drinking enough water. Or maybe I just had a weak breakfast. I don't really know. But around 2 o'clock, I felt completely drained and exhausted. I drank some water. It didn't help. I sat in the shade. It didn't help. Then Maya, our super enthusiastic and energetic Asian assistant, came around with some strawberries. I ate one and immediately felt a little better, so I ate about 5 more. Just 6 strawberries made a significant difference, and I felt back to normal. Maya was definitely the hero of the moment. We then waited, and waited, and waited some more, for a group who was coming to meet us after they had finished a food drop. This was a boring lull, but I kind of welcomed it because of how I had felt minutes earlier. When they finally arrived, we drove to the coast where the tsunami had hit. On the way there, we drove through a town which was absolutely devastated. The junkyard had so many cars in it that they had begun stacking them 3 high. The car walls were long, at least 10 cars long, and sometimes more, and these walls were numerous. Once at the coast, we took some time to reflect. We all got in a circle, and we heard Maya's story about how her brother narrowly escaped drowning, and she also had a prayer request for us. She wanted us to pray that the spirits of the lost would find their way to heaven. Of all the things I saw, this prayer request stuck with me the most. Her belief system has no closure in death. All I could pray is that those people did not die in vain and that God would use this tragedy to establish strongholds in Japan. The final part of the day was an adventure. I was in Goldie again, and we were the caboose of our caravan. We had a blast joking around about bizarre or awkward situations like driving into a rice paddy and getting the car stuck in the middle of the field. When it finally seemed like we were at the restaurant, our last turn was a U-turn into the restaurant parking lot. We pulled it off, but a bus driver gave us all heart attacks when he blasted his horn at us. The way we reacted, it might as well have been a humpback whale yelling, "Move!" It's pretty scary stuff. Unfortunately, the restaurant was packed, so we had to drive to another one. It was worth it, though. We were at an all-you-can-eat buffet, Japan or Korean style. You pay up front, grab a seat around a stove or grill, and then you go and get your meat. The dinner was delicious. For dessert, I decided to try making a crepe. It turned out excellent. My dessert was window display worthy, and people at the table noticed. Ray even asked me to make him one, and I agreed, but there was a line, so we had to wait. Once the line died down, I went and I made him a crepe. When it was almost finished, I had a devilish inspiration for a prank. Right next to the crepe pan, they had the salad dressings. I decided to put a little drizzle, actually a large dollop, of balsamic vinegar right down the middle of his crepe. It blended in with the chocolate perfectly. When I got back to the table, people were oohing and ahhing over its perfection, and this made it really difficult for me to keep a straight face because the setup was just too perfect. Moments before taking a bite, Ray even commented, "Watch, there's like wasabi or something in this crepe. That's totally something I would have done." I held my face, and he took his bite, and he looked satisfied. His look of satisfaction quickly transformed into confusion, and then one of utter disgust. Prank accomplished. The others noticed his reaction, and my struggle to breathe through my laughter, and they figured out what had happened. Because of the ice cream melting, Ray couldn't just spit out his mouthful. He had to swallow that cold, creamy, warm, sweet, salty, and sour-dominated mouthful. And so the day ended with a high for me and a low for Ray. Payback will probably be rough, though. Hello, this is a reading from my journal. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Ryan Manieri, and I'm here on a J-Team, J-Term trip with Asian Access.
I found a poor friend.
Take two.
Wait, what do you got there, Brandon?
A frog covered in fuzz.
Aww.
This is Brandon, everybody.
Oh, there he goes.
And
And
he just
he-
dropped a frog.
Come here.
Dropped the fuzzy frog.
He's like, oh gosh, he's a little disoriented now.
Okay.